stability, grip, quietness. Only one tire can satisfy drivers who demand true performance. Advan. Life can be exciting. Yokohama Tire.
Welcome to the Malaysian Motorcycle Grand Prix, and as you can see, it's a huge crowd, a sea of yellow and blue, most of them supporting Valentino Rossi this weekend. Also, we have our local riders, a huge event. Tickets have been sold out. Malaysian MotoGP!
Go Jack! Go Jack! Aku Jared, you can do it! He's been in complete control, man, regardless. Check the flag is out. Regardless is victorious. It's Malaysia!
Welcome back, folks, to the Sepang International Circuit. We are very much done with the morning session, and now we are waiting for race 2 for the Malaysian Championship Series, obviously 2021 down here at the Sepang International Circuit. As mentioned, we have done with race 1 earlier this morning. We are getting prepped, we are getting ready for race number 2 here this evening. And don't forget, guys, if you guys are planning to come and watch us live, you can always come down here at the Sepang International Circuit because entrance is free. You get to sit at the grandstand area. But if today might be a bit late for you, you can always plan to come back tomorrow because we're definitely going to be back here again. And worst case scenario, obviously, if you don't know how to watch us, make sure you guys check out our official Facebook page of the Sepang International Circuit to watch us live throughout the whole session for race 2 today. And don't worry, folks, we are here. We always follow all the SOPs of COVID-19. We have our mask on. We are making sure that we are separated far enough, observing with the social distancing, and we always sanitize our hands to make sure that we do not spread the virus of COVID-19 for sure. Now, coming back to the race, my latte crystal ball is actually giving a bit of an estimation that it might rain a bit. It's a bit windy down here. Gee, what about your mocha crystal ball? What does it say?
Well, I have to say that your estimation and your crystal ball is pretty much rigged a little bit, because it generally has rained in Malaysia at around this time, at around this year, for many years, and that's where we should leave it, because as you can see, the track is very, very dry right now. My name is Stephen Silvanathan. Welcome back to our coverage of the Malaysia Championship Series 2021. As you can see at the top of your screen, round 1, race 2. We're all very, very lucky in this compacted, new, revised season to have 2 Malaysia Championship Series round races in one day. And as Mio pointed out, 2 today, so a morning session and this afternoon session. And then there'll be race 3 and 4 from round 2. That's happening tomorrow. We'll get back to that a little bit later on. Right now, as you can see, the cars are out on track, and they're going to be loving the fact that it is very dry. As Mio pointed out, it was a great, great race this morning to get things started, and it really does change the outlook on the entire series now that you have a starting point and you know who are the teams to look out for. Of course, Alif Hamdan, Lai Wei Sing from R Engineering, sole entries in touring production, 4 classes, of course. If you are, I should really, for all the people that are just joining us and have never seen a Malaysia Championship Series round before, well, 4 classes: touring production, sport production 1, sport production 2, and Malaysia touring class as well. It's actually stock production for those. And each of those classes differentiated by size, capacity of engine, TP 2000cc, MTC 1006, for example. That, of course, means that there are different cars allocated to each of those classes. There are a lot of Honda Jazzes and Suzuki Swifts in S Production 2. A lot of Civic FD2Rs. That's really the staple. There's one right there. The staple car for touring cars around the world. And between them, these teams have been tinkering on them since this morning's session, when a lot of teams performed pretty well, but a couple of teams still with a little bit of work to do, shall we say. And there you go, the Sepang International Circuit open for business again. Just a quick thanks to our partners who have brought us all of this racing. The official fuel partner, BH Petrol, official partner, Yokohama, supported by, as you just saw, KBS here in Malaysia. Racing has been given a green light. The Sepang International Circuit has been given a green light, and all the organizers, logistics, people, broadcasters, all the people that have been working to get this race, I like to say weekend because it's usually on a weekend, but of course it's on a Thursday today, have been working round the clock, these guys, and a big shout of appreciation to them so that we can all sit back, the Malaysian motorsports community and beyond, regional motorsports community and the global motorsports community as well, because this is still one of the first racing seasons that is back in action. There are so many classes of motorsport that were stopped or delayed, I should say, by the challenging circumstances of the pandemic over the last 2 years. The Malaysian Championship Series itself only came back from an 18-month absence and had one event last year in August when the conditions, the national conditions, were permeable enough, I should say, that racing was actually allowed for that special National Day weekend. That was a non-championship point race. It was won by R Engineering and Lai Wei Sing. And getting back to them, well, they kind of ruled the roost this morning, I should say, for race 1. And they were running in top spot for a long part of that race, but then the last 3 or 4 laps, they started lapping not just a bit slower, but well, really off the pace. And as we found out from the winner's interview from the podium, and Alif Hamdan actually said there was a few things that they need to get sorted out for this afternoon session. You can see the grid being filled up. There'll be a 10-minute board, a 5-minute board, 3-minute board, 1-minute board, and a 30-second board to let everyone know that, well, essentially you have to get off the grid, because that's what it does. And in the end, it's just going to be tires, cars, mechanics, drivers, and then even the mechanics will get into the formation lap. And I think all of these drivers be itching for the second race now. Going through the, well, not standings yet. I said it is a starting point for the whole series, having that first race done, but a lot of people will be watching the Empire M racing team. Shazul Hisham Harun and his teammate Mohammed Shahrizal Jamaluddin, they shared driving duties. That number 34 car that ended up winning when Alif Hamdan came off the pace. They not only won the overall race, but they won the SP1 category as well. Leona Chin is going to be looking to make it a double for Tedco Racing after a pretty commanding win in the morning session, almost a full lap ahead of the other 3 contestants in that class. And Mitchell Chia and Adi Rahimi, the dynamic duo as I like to call them, because that's some real driving finesse in that partnership. Well, they got the first win on the board for 23 motors that actually did pretty well as well in the other 2 classes, MTC and SP1 that they were racing in. So it was 23 motors, and our engineering that have multiple cars entered in multiple classes. It means it is a lot harder to manage. But they would have got a lot of information, a lot of data crunched, and we were gifted in that there were no significant incidents, no shunts to bodywork, no engine failures this morning. Hoping that's going to continue as well, because they have they haven't got much time to get these cars ready. As I said this morning, and if you are familiar with the Malaysia Championship Series, you have usually a much more spread out calendar, of course, in April, May, June, September, but never having 4 races in 2 days, 1 in the morning, in the afternoon, means there's a lot of pressure on these teams to get themselves sorted out. Let's find out more about these teams and these drivers. Let's get down on the grid. Mio is talking to our drivers.
Yes, I'm actually talking to Mitchell down here. Mitchell, you actually did so good earlier this morning. You think you can replicate that in the afternoon session?
I mean, thanks to the team for giving me this opportunity to be here racing once again this year, first of all. And I'm very happy to be back on the top spot, of course. And hopefully, as long as everything runs smoothly today, for the second race, I think I'm confident that we can replicate the same result. Yeah.
And any major tactics that you might have to take should the sky falls later on during the race?
Sorry, come again?
Any different tactics that you will apply if the sky falls?
Just different racing line. If it's wet, that for sure. Other than that, I'm not too worried about the weather. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Good luck to you, Mitch.
Thank you.
All right. There you go. Mitch with his confidence. Obviously, he will definitely bring it the best for this race as well. Back to you, Jeef.
Well, thanks for that, Mio. I don't know if we've just jinxed it or not, but I've never actually seen drivers say that they're not too fussed about the weather up at Sepang, because the weather up at Sepang can be pretty significant. Of course, if any driver is going to know that, it's going to be Mitchell Chia. Well-marshaled interview there as well. A well-disciplined driver who's been driving all around the region and doing very, very well in the likes of TCR Asia and some of the other touring car championships. He knows about the rain up here, and in fact, all these drivers do know what they should be prepared for if it does come down. We'll find out that later on. Let's get back down to the grid and talk to another driver with Mio.
Yeah, all right, so we're here together with Hayden Haikal. Hayden, you and together with Adam actually did great this morning. Do you think that you can make that number 2 spot into number 1?
Hopefully. I mean, it seems possible because we had the better pace during race 1, right? But we got held up on the first stint. And towards the end, we were catching up, but we couldn't, there wasn't enough laps. So maybe, who knows, race 2, something else, right?
All right. And I did ask Mitchell earlier just now. He said he's not really worried about the weather. Are you worried about the weather?
Nah, it seems alright. Seems good. Perfect.
Seems to be perfect. All right, these riders obviously love to drive it in the rain. Obviously, Jeevan, I don't know about you, but I'm quite scared actually.
Well, thanks a lot, Mio. You're definitely going to need an umbrella if it happens. Yeah, I think we might be jinxing it with all these people saying they're not worried about the rain. It just seems perfect. But also, this is the first day back for the Malaysian Championship Series, and it would also be really good if it was a dry race. I think we need to take it as it stands now. I think a lot of people, including myself, would have expected a little bit more moisture on the track, even a hotter track temperature, but it is, as Hayden pointed out, quite neutral right now, and that's a very good platform to start racing. And as you can see, the wind is kicking up. That is usually the only thing, the only indicator you need to know that there is a big storm turning up. But I don't know, see the palm trees over there? They're looking okay. That's how you gauge things in Malaysia, if it's going to rain or not. Right now, though, hopefully, as Mio put it out, the sky won't fall down in the next hour and a little bit. As he pointed out, free entrance to the grandstand for the fully vaccinated, and of course, if you do have all your COVID safety protocols, I should say, in that place. While I'm on that, In fact, I'll get back to that in a second. We're going to get down to the grid and talk to another driver.
All right, I'm here together with Shariza. Shariza, we're almost at the starting right now, so you're all pumped up? Are you all pumped up? Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready to go. I'm good to go, man.
Yeah, it seems that you literally can't wait to go on, so we're definitely going to see another magic from you as well as your partner for this round 2 for race 2.
Yep, yes. I mean, now it's like a little bit nervous because now everyone is like hunting us in front. Yep.
Yeah, it's always great to be the hunter rather than being the hunter, right? Because you're always at the start of the pack.
Yep.
One thing I did ask a few of your racer friends, again, weather a concern to you or you're fine?
I'm good. If rain, perfect for us.
All right, good luck to you, man. Again, people are not afraid of the rain, Jeev. I mean, like, they are very confident people over here.
Well, no, they've driven in it before. That's it, and they've driven very well. And I think that's it. They're aware of the strategies that they need to be put in place if it does rain. And from this point right now, it's looking like it's going to be dry enough. But we shall see. As I said, it's just one of the very many factors that have made the Malaysia Championship Series such an active and dynamic series to follow. The National Touring Car Championship of Malaysia is what you are tuned to. This is round 1, race 2, and the cars, as you can see on the grid, ready for 1 hour plus leader with that compulsory pit stop in the pit stop window, which will turn up at some point between minute 25 and minute 40. Now, because we have winners, of course, as we look at Abdul Qadir and Baron Sim, another good performance this morning from them. Good team, from stretching back from 2019, in fact. But yes, that pit stop window, all the cars, of course, are going to have to come in for that. No refueling allowed, but if you're a winner, and I think this actually applies for race 3 and 4 and the subsequent rounds, then there's not just success ballast that gets added as a balance of performance measure to your car, but there's also additional pit stop times this season, 10 to 12 seconds, sometimes 15 seconds added to your success. So that means it really is important to come in, and as we saw this morning, get your pit stop procedure perfect. It's all P's. Get your pit stop procedure perfect, because if you don't, penalty. That's your 5th P. If that did happen, it did happen this morning as well. But that could just be from some of these teams being a little bit out of practice as to getting those pit stops right. So that's going to be a very interesting part of this race, as it always is, because all the positions in overall and in class will then shift around for a couple of laps as well. You can just hear in the background that my voice is on the big tannoys and should be on the big screen as well, and that's just more incentive for you guys at home if you want to break that cycle of being at home for all this time before this and then come up to the Sepang International Circuit, show your fully vaccinated certificate and keep to those COVID safety protocols that have allowed all of this to happen, which is wear a mask, maintain social distancing, don't gather in large crowds, and of course sanitize your hands at all times. Don't just do it for the race, do it all the time, because we're not out of these challenging years just yet. Now, the grid is almost clear, as you can see. We should be down to the 30-second board. That means everyone is pretty much going to be off that grid soon. Now, I wonder what start we're going to see this time. Last time it was pretty straight down, dominating, hands down, pedal to the metal start from Alif Hamdan. Means he had no problems going into turns 1 and 2. The double hairpin can make all the difference. Once again, if you want to find out more about the Malaysian Championship Series or any of the series details, or in fact the Sepang 1000K, that's not that far away as well, then get onto the official website, www.sepangcircuit.com. Whistles and klaxon, that's the audio signal that you need to signify the boards. Each of those boards comes with a klaxon. Now there'll be a formation lap. I can see on a cool afternoon like this, a bit of zigzagging serpentine, serpentine pattern just to get some heat into those tires early, ready for that big start, mixed rolling start at the end of this lap. as the safety car moves off. We'll get a better read of the weather right now for this afternoon race 2 of round 1. Now the drivers said that they're not going to have a problem with the weather. That's true, but if you look at that circuit, it means that a lot of water can build up on either of those 15, any of those 15 corners, anywhere around the 5.543 kilometer track. Especially at turns 9 and 10, there's a little dip there. And let's look at the starting grid for today. So Alif Hamdan, Lai Wei Sing in that R Engineering HMRT Civic on pole. You've got Shazuli Sham and Sharizal Jamaluddin in Empire Racing sharing row 1. Abdul Qatir Baransim and Cham Tek Song in row 2. Ken Urata had a great race this morning. And Leona Chin had a fantastic race this morning on row 3. Abdul Mikal and Ronnie Risman are the 2 MTCs in row 4. Chinhua Lip, also an MTC. Mitchell Chia, Adi Rahimi, that's kicking off. SB2, row 5. Hayden Heikel, Adam Khalid, and Eddie Liu in 11th and 12th, row 6. In row 7, Imran Wafi Adnan and Putra Adam. Row 8, Amir Harris Jeffrey, Noor Ali and Mohammed Farik. And row 9, Chai Kok Ho and Nurul Husna and Tasha Sita. And that just leaves 1 row left. And row 10, Alfonso Zulkifli and Sharina Ramli in Estrada. And Noor Adli and Kifli Othman, who must finish today, now this afternoon, after being the only DNF this morning. That Kino Motorsport 888 car, Honda GK RS R5, let them down. So they'll be looking for a better performance from them. And see, we just had to say it now. It's just looking darker already. It's looking like the clouds are building up a little. But as we found out, each and every one of us sitting everywhere around the world, the important part is to stay positive. That's what we learned over the last 2 years. You've got to stay positive for 57 minutes and hope that this race isn't severely affected by rain. With touring cars, of course, a little bit of moisture helps. Thing is, at Sepang, it's not usually a little bit of moisture, it's a lot of moisture, and that can lead to, because it is a well-elevated track, there's a lot of gradients up and down. You get these pools of water that pour across the track, and they can cause great damage, even when you've got some super tires on there from Yokohama. Still, it's a challenge. They definitely kitted out with the best equipment right now. Other things to take away from this morning as they bunch up on the back straight. Now it's time to get into formation as per race control rules before the rolling start around the final corner 15. The takeaway from this morning, 2:28.42 was the fastest lap that was set by R Engineering. Let's see if we get a faster lap than that. That was the only car, in fact, to get into that 2:28 territory. All looking nice and tidy on the back straight. Will we see a double win for Leona Chin? Will we see a double win for Shazul Hisham Harun and Empire M Racing as well? Or instead, will we see some new winners? Don't forget, more points and races happening tomorrow. So, come up the home straight. Just getting ready, not allowed to accelerate till those lights go green. And now they have, and this time, wow, a little bit more close packed up in this second start, but Alif Hamdan in that R Engineering Civic, still too much power. Going to be uncontested coming into turn 1. And that looks like almost a carbon copy of this morning's race. Shazul Hisham Harun in second. And looks like, well, it was an MTC car that had jumped up into third. I think it was Chinhua Lip. But now Chao Tek Song has, well, I thought he'd gone past. That might be the first red and white R Engineering car coming into turn 5. Alif Hamdan, it's Shazul Hisham. That is in fact Ken Urata that's jumped up from 7th on the grid. He had a blinding race this morning. It looks like he wants some more. Ken Urata currently being followed by, that looks a lot like Hayden Heichel, who's not wasting any time. Now that looks like Urata just a couple of wheels off track. Got to keep it on the black stuff. Definitely get a closer look at who's who in the opening lap. Well, that's actually Abdul Qatir and Baron Sim at 23 Motors car. Guessing it's Qatir in there first. Bring Baron Sim in halfway through the race if they need to. Well, they will after the pit stop. You know, I've actually wondered why that doesn't happen more often. But there's a lot of work to be done in those pits, and maybe the last time that we've been there before, people are too engrossed in what they're doing. So, turn 14 about to finish lap 1. That is Chao Tek-seong. Now trailing Ken Urata, who's made a jump of about 4 spots from his grid position. Fantastic stuff. That was in that big pack of cars. So as they come down starting their second lap, Alif Hamdan has already put in a 2:30.409, so he's already gunning for that 2:28.42 he put down this morning. As expected, the number 34 Empire M in second, 23 Motors number 23 in third, Ken Urata in fourth, Chao Tek-seong in fifth. That's also not just the top 5 overall, but from Shazul Hisham down to Chao Tek-seong, that's the classification for SP1. MTC being led by Chin Hua Lip right now, who is actually already 12 seconds ahead of Leona Chin. So she's got a lot of work to do. She's got to get through almost the entire SP2 field, in fact, to reach Chin Hua Lip. Mitchell Chia and Ali Rahimi heading up SP2. Putra Adam in second. That's great for Putra Adam. Eddie Liu and Hayden Heichel in third and fourth. Amir Harris Jeffrey got done for unsportsmanlike conduct this morning. Black and white flag, unfortunate. He's in fifth in class. Noor Adli and Imran Rafi Adnan, sixth and seventh. Big class of SB2, good to see. So as they settle into the race, 21 laps expected, maybe 22, leader +1. And you can see on the left side of your screen the gaps that are building up now. A lot of people, including myself, were expecting a huge fight in MTC this morning. It turned out to be more of a 2-horse race, and the big fight was really in SB2 and SB1. And that's what we're watching right now. So that's Eddie Liu. Just settling in, and it looks once again, the race this morning was defined by a bad trio. It included Imran Rafi Adnan, Hayden Heichel, and Eddie Liu. And for the first few laps of that race, they were absolutely all over each other. And that's pretty much what's happening here. Very, very close indeed, because that is, if I'm right, the 1-2-3 car of Mitchell Chia, and he currently leading this class in 7th overall. But this here, this is the SB2 class. As you can see, it's not that far off at all. And in fact, it looks like those three cars are beginning to reel in that leader. That gap is roughly a second now. A second between Mitchell and Eddie. There is less than a second between Eddie and Putra, and there is about 1 second between Putra and Hayden Heichel, who's behind this. Well, there he is now. Now, if you're thinking, hold on, though, that doesn't sound like a road car. Well, it doesn't. It's a road chassis. It's what touring car racing is based on. But super tweaked engines, of course, generating about 225 horsepower. Yes, I said 225 horsepower in that chassis. These are little pocket rockets. And once again, Eddie Liu and Hayden Heichel take up battle for third. Seems that they've perfected their lines a little bit from this morning. There was an air of excitement and buzz this morning, simply because half of these, if not half, if more of these drivers had just been itching to get back on track. Now settling into their craft a bit better. Has he got what it takes, Hayden Heichel, to get past here? He's definitely got half a car length there. He's now owning that line. The question is whether he's going to be able to keep it. And it looks like he won't on the inside. That's well held by Adam, and they're both off track on the curbs there. It's beginning to turn into one of those battles that we saw this morning. I just hope that they can keep it within the lines. Just keeping behind that car, not trying it in turn one, just training it round there. Now looking back at the start again. Now I'm looking for Ken Urata. There he is on the right of your screen, and that's, he had pretty much clear air in front of him, and that's how he got into third spot from seventh. Well done. Rest of the cars cleanly away. A little bit of a bunch up at the back. This is Eddie Liu and Hayden Heichel once again, battling it out. And that looked like more a bit concerned as to exactly how long this is taking. So just got to find the perfect time to come through. There are plenty of overtaking opportunities at Sepang. But you also don't want to give up position to the car behind you. In this case, that's Putra Adam. Pit window will be open in about 10 minutes from now. And already race control coming up with a couple of determinations. Incident at turn 15. That's car number 45. That's Amir Harris, isn't it? Yes, it is. So, black and white flag this morning, and now under investigation for an incident at turn 15 with Imran Wafi Adnan, in fact. So they've been having another big battle in SB2. And as always, race control is watching. It's confirmation of that. Putra Adam has had the
chance to really catch up because of that fight. All three of these cars still trailing black and yellow 1, 2, 3 23 Motors car. By Michael Chia. He knows what he's doing on this track. You're going to have to put in a really good performance if you're going to get past him. So there's nothing like getting ready for that by jumping up second, third and fourth. Meanwhile, this is second overall, first in SP1. Winner, of course, from this morning. Azul. Well, it's actually Mohammed Sharizal Jamaluddin. That's in that car this time. As he said, all eyes on them. A lot of pressure on him to get good result, make it a double. So far, so good. Remember that the R Engineering car ahead of him ran into a few problems in the last 3 or 4 laps this morning. If that happens again, then might even get a double win. But really, it was about consistency that put that team, Empire AM Racing, on the top of the podium earlier. It's actually good to see everyone still out on track as well. No DNFs this time. That means that AAA Kino Motorsport car, Gifi Hoffmann, is currently running in 14th overall, 7th in class. Good to see them out and running. Rest for, not a rest really, the quieter time for some of these team mechanics. That is Chao Tek Song, R Engineering 11, coming through turns 1 and 2. This is 3, 4 and 5. Looking pretty solid, good line there. Doesn't seem to be anything specifically concerning him. And looking at his times, well, lapping at about 2:33.707. That's about 3 seconds off the pace set by Alif Hamdan. 2:30.002 is our fastest lap so far in this second race. Still the one to beat from this morning, 2:28.42. You can do it, Alif. I know you can do it. That's the kind of R&D that I'm sure he'll be looking for. And we've had a third unsportsmanlike flag, and that this time it's going out to Abdul Qatir's 23 Motors. Respecting track limits is what it's about. As I said, always keep your wheels on the black stuff. Now, here's an interesting battle. That is Ahmed Ronnie Risman from MTC leading that pack, or was leading that pack. Number 5 car. Well, it looks like he's still leading that pack. And that would mean that Adi Muarif is not behind him. And that's also Nurul Husna from Nisa Racing, black number 58. 18th overall, 10th in class, and lapping at a 2:52.117. And putting that in perspective, now you can see the range of lap times, because Alif Hamdan's at 2:30. That's 22 seconds faster. That means you get to lapping, back markers, and blue flags a lot quicker than you think. Now, that looks like somebody that is either getting ready. It's bound to be getting ready. We haven't had any DNFs yet. So some of these driver changes are going to be happening, and they're going to be happening in about 6 minutes. Pit stops absolutely compulsory. Whoa, now that's again, just pushing it a bit too hard. Now this is Hayden Heichel and Mitchell Chia. This is huge. Mitchell Chia is going to know about defending. Hayden Heichel, of course, the up and rising star. Bits flying off that car. That's how close they were. Now he tries on the outside. I don't think Mitchell's going to allow him to do that. No, he isn't. Shuts the door nicely at turn 15, but opens up the natural window. Coming out of turn 15. Has he got enough? Well, this is going to be great. Absolutely side by side. No, I think he may have done it. But he's not giving up any ground at all. These are just whoa, a little bit of recorrection needed from Hayden Heichel, and Mitchell Chia has defended those first two corners very well from Hayden, who's just snapping at his heels right now. All that experience he's picked up in TCR Asia and around Asia and the world, putting into practice back on home soil at the track, of course, they all love so much. Now they are throwing those Honda Jazzes around. And that's got to be frustrating Hayden a little bit, but this is definitely the battle that we want to be checking in with. You can just see them dragging those tires around the corners. And that's the sound that you get in touring cars that you don't get in any of the Formula cars, because the grip is too good. You don't hear cars careening and screaming around corners, tires screeching, because these chassis are literally weighing in on those tires. Those engines, wow, that's a really interesting entry into 910. He's just stuck like glue to the back of that car. Well, this is going to be a tough ask for Hayden Heichel. Of course, he's done it before, he can do it, but Mitchell Chia is a tough character when it comes to defending. He's a tough character when it comes to attacking as well, but you can see now he's just not allowing that line, that racing line, to be accessible. The Hayden, who's now going to try and pull in on the inside. He's having a look on the inside. This is the back straight, so again, trying to set him up for a move at 15. Maybe he's done it this time. It looks like he has. He's got to get clean in front of that car if he's going to cut across the front, and he isn't, which means that inside line is open again. Well, that's brilliant driving from both of them. It might look like they are stuck together, but it takes a lot of effort. Make sure now, meanwhile, behind them, that's Leona Chin, who's now climbed up to 9th overall. So Leona is charging. She has put in a 2:43 now currently. Well, that's interesting. It's fast. That's the fastest lap in MTC. She's looking for a double win. And with these two taking up each of their times, she might just be able to jump both of them. It's an interesting dynamic. The third car coming in. Mitchell Chia, Hayden Heichel, and Leona Chin, all known names around here, and the MCS. And now all three of them in, shall we say, a pickle. Two Honda Jazz and a Suzuki Swift. 23 motors. Nisa Racing and Tedco Racing. Three teams watching this as they screech around, riding the curb a little bit. Whoa, that's may have given a bit of an advantage to Hayden, and he nicely goes through. I think it was that curb jump in the end that lost Mitchell a lot of speed. He's not going to be too happy with that. So the tables turn, and now Hayden has to do the defending. Now, while this is evolving, let's get down to the pits, where Mio has one of our team managers.
Hey, G, thanks so much. I'm not actually with the team manager. I'm actually with the father of one of the drivers here for 23 Motors, the father of Adi Rahimi. We got Rashid together with us. Hey, Rashid, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
All right, so as a father, how did your son perform this morning? Were you proud of him?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say I want to thank to the team for the opportunity to Adi to drive for this team. So, and then, yeah, thank God everything went smoothly and went well, very well for the team, especially on Adi and Michel partnering for being crowned as a champion for this for our last race. Okay, the race one just now.
But one thing I do want to ask you as a father, the moment where Adi actually mentioned to you, Papa, I don't want to play video games anymore, I want to drive a real car. So how did that struck you?
Actually, that one is a normal thing for me. Since actually I'm myself running my own racing class, and our racing academy is using a simulator to prep the drivers. So for me, during the COVID, yes, we can't go to the track. So what I did, and I always tell him to get prepared and be ready. And then there's a lot of things that he needs to do. He has to do. Why? Because to keep his fitness, to keep his fitness, and then the mental and everything. So instead of being fit, then he has to go to the sim to train. Yeah.
Definitely a proud father right here. Good luck to Adi. And again, I'm astonished with this man. A proud father. G.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Mio. Great to hear from Rashid Ramlan. A lot of experience himself, of course. But yes, fantastic story for Adi Rahimi. And good to hear a little bit more about that racing class and the simulators as well, because that's the environment he's grown up in. And of course, he's going to be taking over this car from Mitchell Chia. And that's why one thing you'd like to do, of course, is we see some of the cars coming in for the pit window that's already open. One thing you'd like to do is hand over, just like that, a good spec car that's working well, that's hopefully in a good position, that's clear of anybody kind of trying to rob that position. That you can't say for Mitchell Chia right now. He's not going to hand that car over to Adi Rahimi and gain track position. So what he'd love to do is get in front of Hayden Heichel, get a few seconds in front, and then plan the strategy from that. Because remember, this isn't like any other motorsports championship where you can just pick when you're going to pit. No. If that pit window closes and you haven't had your compulsory pit stop, then that 5th P penalty is coming your way. So they have to really be smart as to how they're going to do this. Meantime, that's Chao Tek-song in R Engineering, the second R Engineering car that is in the pits. There are about 8 cars in the pits right now. Azwan Zulkifli is going to be changing over to Sharina Ramli. Chai Kok Ho will be giving the steering wheel to Chu Sin Yong. Imran Rafi Adnan will hand over to Naji. And Shazul Hisham Harun and will be taking over, from Sharizal Jamaluddin. And this fight just keeps going. I told you Mitchell wouldn't want to stay at the back. What a great move on the inside of turn 1. He's got that line. Now he has to switch immediately to defending. And that is going to frustrate Hayden Heichel so much. You can drive up to his bumper as much as you like. He took you on that corner and he took you well. And that is the experience that Mitchell Chia has, which soon Hayden Heichel will also have. 2 drivers that have grown in stature and experience right here at the Sepang International Circuit, laying it all on the line as early as race 2, round 1 for the Malaysia Championship Series 2021, which is where you are right now. Thanks for joining us and thanks for watching. It's not over yet. I'm not ending anything. Just saying thanks for being here. Oh, and he's trying it again. This is looking like it's going to lead to some contact. Almost pushed him out the way. So evenly matched for power that it really is just all about line, and that's really good work from Hayden Heichel. That is, I think, the second time that position has changed for these two. We're still only on lap 11. Meanwhile, by the way, in the fastest lap award category, Alif Hamdan has now put in a 2:29.666, which is getting closer to that 2:28.42 he put in this morning. That's the fastest we've seen one of these MCS cars go around the track today. Right now, we're looking at this huge fight between Mitchell Chia and Hayden Heichel in Sport Production 2. Behind them, you can see Alif Hamdan. So these guys, oh, well, that's a bit of contact that we knew was going to happen. Really well controlled from Hayden Heichel. That could have been so much more. Suddenly just turned the steering wheel, managed to get control, and didn't careen off. That's such a fast part of the course. Both of them being shown blue flags because Alif Hamdan has to come through, and he does safely. And now they can get back to what they were doing. Though you'd probably think watching it that they shouldn't be doing any of this stuff. Again, screeching in, and Mitchell's lost a lot of speed and power. He's coming into the pits. So in the end, he's tried his best to get in front. What a scrap between both of them. Not the first scrap that Hayden Heichel has been involved in either, because he was fighting with Imran Wafi Adnan and Eddie Liu this morning. And he just apparently didn't have enough there, and he's come out and he's done the same with Mitchell Chia now. Of course, this means that he is leading the SB2 category outright, overall in 4th. Very well done. And I can just see Mio is getting some more interviews lined up for us. Busy time for it, of course, with the pit window on. As soon as they're ready, we'll get down to them. So currently, I've been so engrossed in that Mitchell Chia Hayden Heichel fight that, and that was it. That was just such a great piece of controlling. We're looking at the replay here, and he just did not want to give up that line. Both of them are just magnetically stuck to this line. Well, that is a shame. That is the car that's ruled the roost this morning, and that's not the pit lane entrance. So we might have a pretty high-profile DNF in race 2, round 1. And yes, they're just dropping down. In fact, just coming out of the pit, so something has happened inside that pit stop that has led, or I suppose it may have been trying to fix a problem that was before the pit window. But either way, Empire M Racing is going to have just the one win this, I was about to say weekend again, this Thursday, this first day of the Malaysia Championship Series 2021. And while I'm on it, in fact, just to remind you, don't forget round 1 is today. Round 2, morning and afternoon races, will be completed tomorrow. Round 3 will be on the 15th of December. Round 4 will be on the 16th of December. Mark those down in your calendars. 12 laps completed for our outright leader. That car, the Civic FC of Alif Hamdan and Lai Wei Singh. Defending champions from 2019. Of course, couldn't defend it. Because that was the immediate start. I mean, the 2020 season was essentially the start of the season that was delayed. Now, that's something you don't see very often. Good thing the pit window's open, because that's now giving some unwanted drag by acting as a very variable spoiler on the back of that car. That's not going to be, well, one of course, it's not allowed, and we'll get back to that in a second. We're going to get down to the pits and talk to Lai Wei Singh, who's about to get in that our engineering car.
with Lai, the team manager for our engineering. I know that you're such a busy man, Lai. Thank you so much for a couple of minutes with us. How's the team been doing so far?
Yeah, now it's doing good compared to the morning section. We run 3 categories in now in TP, SP2, and SP1. All 3 cars in the podium position. Now we are quite busy on the pit stop for the second part of the race.
Okay, so basically, as you said, you got 3 classes heading towards right now, all podium. You're definite that our engineering is definitely going to be up there on the podium today.
I don't know. Let's see. If we have lucky enough, the driver can do the good job, bring the car home, should be no problem.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Lai. Jeev, busy man, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Mio. Well, it does say on our race computers that Lai Wei-Sing would be taking control of that car, but as you can see, those aren't fireproofs. He's now just focusing on managing the team, which means Alif Hamdan most probably driving solo in that. And that would explain why, of course, he was on the podium earlier after he won TP as a solo driver. Now, looking at SP1. In fact, we're just cutting back to the pits now, and that is Putra Adam, who's running in 3rd. And look at that. That's the kind of situation that you need to take. You need to get a hold of. Getting very hot in those cars, and you know what? It's not even direct bright sunlight outside, or even in the middle of the day. So you can imagine how hot track temperatures at Sepang can go up to 55, 56 centigrade easy on a really, really hot day. And that is a nightmare, not just for your tires and your engine and your coolant systems, but also your driver, of course, who's wearing about 60 pounds worth of fireproof gear. Back with that fight, and it looks like it's back on as well. No, in fact, that's not Hayden Heichel. He's going to be way up in front. He's actually up in 2nd now because of all the pit stops that are happening. That is now, that would be Adi Rahimi in that car. Now that's very interesting. So Abu Bakr Banafi will be getting into that. And this is a big pit stop. Abdul Mikhail and Banafi, Abu Bakr Banafi, the only competitors in a Toyota Vios today. That's a much bigger car, much more. It's a different power to weight situation. That really does come into play as well as we check in with Putra Adam, who's now out safely from the pits on outlap. These Honda Jazzes and Suzuki Swifts, of course, not so great on, or not relatively, with straight line speed, but when it comes to cornering, they can pick much easier lines than some of these saloons. But when it comes down to the car, it can really perform in a touring car environment. Honda Civic FD2R. Nicely balanced, and that's why a lot of these teams end up using that car now. Tedco Racing into the pits. That's William Ho that will be taking over that car. Didn't actually say much about William Ho this morning. William Ho is partnering Eddie Liu. Nice and patient. All that dust and smoke coming off these well-used brake calipers. Actually, a nice, easy situation when you've got the big pit lane. There are 2 pit lanes here at Sepang. There is the home straight, there's the back straight, and it's sometimes been used at the back straight as well. This, of course, the very big pit lane. But once again, same rules as every pit lane, and that's Leona Chin, also in the pits. Best lap today, 2:42.903. Oh wow, she's deep in the pits. That's not looking like your usual once-over. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on her. Currently at the, in fact, she's been in there for a while. 9 laps completed for Leona Chin. Was on a bit of a charge last time we checked in with her, but there has actually been so much going on in terms of Mitchell Chia and Hayden Heichel that we really keep touch there. Now looking at her last lap, it was a 2:51. Yes, definitely something wrong with that Suzuki Swift. She's going to be hoping that they can come out of that. Best of luck to Tedco Racing there. 2 of their cars in the pits right now. Meanwhile, back on track. We're just going to settle down after the pit window closes and see where we are with 20 minutes left in this race. But a much more solid reliability performance from our engineering. Remember, they had a few problems in the closing laps of race 1, and that led to about at least 5 to 15 seconds longer in terms of pit times, in terms of lap time, sorry. So they had a look at that over the 3 hours that have separated this afternoon race from the morning race. A lot of teams. Pit window's now closed. And there's just, well, Leona Chin still in the pit, so that is bad news for Tedco Racing and Leona. She's going to hope that she can pick up the pace again and get some of that lightning speed back for tomorrow's race, because it doesn't look like she's going to be finishing race 2. Amir Harris Jeffrey also says is still in the pits and the window is closed, so unless he gets out very soon, that might be trouble. And Nurul Husna will be Natasha Sita now in the Nisa Racing car, also logged on by our race computers as being in the pits. Pit window now over into the final gambit for the race. Ken Urata is currently the overall leader and leading SP1, of course. We've had a DNF, Shazuli Isham Harun and Mohammed Shahrizal Jamaluddin. They're really looking forward to the second race. But didn't last very long, 10 laps. Well, we're going down to the pits now. Natasha Sita is actually talking to Mio.
Yes, yes, exactly. You are correct, Jeev. I'm together now with Natasha Sita. Wow, you look exhausted. No, you're not. You look happy.
I look good. Yeah.
Of course. She always looks good. Anyway, so first question to you. I mean, again, after so long, you're not allowed to, be on the track.
Years.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
7 years.
That's a long time. So how's it been coming back, hitting the track, finally racing back again?
I can't explain how I feel. It's really good to come back after months and months of training, months of the MCO and things like this. We're locked down. Just trying to get myself back into the race seat. I'm glad to be back. Honestly, it's second home to me. Yeah.
And how has your day been so far? Morning session, afternoon session. Have you been meeting you with your expectations, or you think that is something that you can definitely get better tomorrow even?
I think it's just about track time for me and Usna. Just getting back, getting used to the car again. The first session, it was all right. We had a couple of car issues. We were really understeering. I think a lot of people had the same thing as well. Obviously old tires and things like that. I think that we finished top 10. That was in our category, which is the main thing. And I think that coming into this race itself, so far it's been, we're currently right now we're 7th. I think that this is so far has been the best performance for us this weekend. Yeah.
I hope that this is just a launchpad for you to become better and better, moving down not just today, tomorrow, and next months to come. Good luck to you, Natasha.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Jeep.
Thanks a lot, Mio. And Natasha Sita, of course, in the pits means Nurul Husna is in the car right now. But she's had an even bigger break, not just the 2 years or the 18 months that were given to the entire industry, but coming back from a 7-year absence, it seems. So well done. Good to see her in the MCS as well. Nurul Husna in that Nisa Racing car. And yes, as Natasha pointed out, it is one of the best performances so far for them. Definitely up from their morning performance. 7th in class right now, and with 13 laps completed. That is our outright leader, Alif Hamdan, the solo driver behind that car. Like we sing in the pits, and I'm sure that he's not driving it. That car, well, these guys never give up, do they? Mitchell Chia, and I think that's Hayden Heichel. Well, it'll be Adam Khalid now. Whoever's in that car just really wants to get in front of that 1, 2, 3 car. That's what's been happening the entire second race. There's different drivers now, of course. Ali Rahimi is in that front car, and you've got Adam Khalid in the 85 car. And once again, they're just picking up the pieces from the big fight that we saw earlier between Mitchell Chia and Hayden Heichel. That's great to see, because that's been a great fight as well. They've been keeping it a little. Now, if you want to set your fastest times, you can get up to the SIC Open Track Day, one of the great new initiatives that's turned up over this last year. Book online now at www.sepangcircuit.com. Bring your car up, let's see how fast you can go. Maybe you can get faster than 2:29.075, which is the fastest in this track. And if you do, who knows, maybe someone from our engineering will start calling you. Also, if you don't want to go for the big car, you want to go for something smaller, you don't have to bring your own go-kart, because there are go-karts there at a really well stocked international Sepang International go-kart track that's next door. You can also get onto at Sepang Circuit to find out more and get your inquiries in. So 13 minutes left in the race. Just to go through those positions again, Alif Hamdan, the lone entrant in touring production, looking good this time. This was around the point in the first race where he started slowing down. 2:29.075 was his last lap. That was his best lap as well, so he's definitely looking to break his 2:28.42 from this morning. SP1 is being headed up by Ken Urata from R-Works, Abdul Qatir and Baron Sim in second, Chao Tek-seong in third, and of course Noel Shazul, Hisham Harun and Mohammed Sharizal Jamaluddin from this morning, because their number 34 Empire M racing car has unfortunately DNF'd. We'll be back with the closing part of this race in just a bit. Stay with us on the official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit.
You stop running, the moment you stop fighting, is the day you lose it. That dream is not gonna wait and say take a breather. It's gonna say come catch me. Catch me if you can.
Yokohama.
Welcome to the Subpark International Circuit, and of course this is the Shell Malaysia Motorcycle Grand Prix. As you can see, people are starting to walk into the Welcome Center. We have about 100 over vendors here today. It's going to be an awesome weekend here at Sepang Circuit.
Okay guys, hari ni keadaan sini semua pria saya tengok, dan saya doakan yang terbaik semua pelumba, termasuk Malaysia, ada Rodin, Kit, Musyarin dan semua yang terlibat lah.
Malaysia の皆さん、お越し日本から来ました。お楽しみ楽しんでます。イエーイ。
Welcome back to the official live stream for the Sepang International Circuit. As you can see, 11 minutes left in the Malaysia Championship Series, round 1, race 2, happening today live at the Sepang International Circuit. That's of course reopened now in about 2 months. Not the first cars out on track. Been a lot of other championships that have played out very well, very successfully, not just 4 wheels but 2 wheels as well in the last 2 months. But this is the National Touring Car Championship of Malaysia, and as we look at the background and see the weather is still holding up here, which is great news. It can hold up for another 10 minutes, and then the podium ceremony, which is coming up after this for MTC, TP, SP1 and SP2, and then rain after that. That would be perfect, and then stop raining before tomorrow. I mean, I know these drivers are ready for rain myself. I just think it's a little bit more, it's a little safer when it's nice and dry and sunny. You've still got that threat of rain turning up, so it's always on edge. Now, looking at the standings, I can tell you, sadly, Amir Harris Jeffrey has had a nightmare first day. That's 2 unsportsmanlike flags, 2 black and white flags, and is now in the pits, and that's a huge off at turn 9 with a lot of velocity as well, and I knew it had to happen. It was that battle that we were watching. That's the number 85 car from Nisa Racing, and that's Adam Khalid that should be behind there. Now I hope there is no trouble there. Now, good, he's reversing it out. Now look at the distance that he has covered. Let's have a look at that now. Now, funnily enough, absolutely under no pressure. Just lost control of turn 9. Very difficult corner that, because not only are you coming in at speed, you've then got to brake, you've got to go uphill as well, and it looks like the second half of that maneuver has just outfoxed Adam Khalid. I'm glad, well, that car doesn't look too healthy at all. But you know what? Any shunt that you can drive away from is at least welcomed in a sense. So he's going to nurse that back to the pits, maybe even for the rest of the race. 8 minutes left, lap 18, probably about another 3 laps for him to go. Very lucky time for Adam Khalid there. I thought for a second they were right next to each other, and that is Leona Chin. Very happy this morning with the win, but couldn't get that Tedco Racing Suzuki Swift up and running again, so she'll be gunning for the 2 races tomorrow, race 3 and race 4. And while we have the time, I'm just going to give you an update. That's going to be 11:15 Malaysia time tomorrow for race 3, 4:15 in the afternoon for race 4. And if I said that the points from race 1 have set up this race, then you can imagine what it's going to be like for tomorrow, now that we're guaranteed to not have a double win for Empire M Racing and Shazuli Isham. No double win for Tedco Racing and Leona Chin. Mitchell Chia and Adi Rahimi still looking good for their second win, topping SB2 in 6th overall. And Ken Urata, this is going to be a first win for him this season. So, SP1. And that just goes to show you the diversity of the Malaysia Championship Series. Different winners, different races. 15 points for the win, 12 points for second, and 10 points for third. I will keep you updated tomorrow as to what the current standings are and who is topping them. Meanwhile, the sun getting low in the sky. It's going to be a little bit better. This is actually the perfect sun we've had today. Just little shots of it to dry out the track if there has been any moisture. There was a lot of rain this morning, a lot of rain last night as well. Now, this looks like an R Engineering car. It is an R Engineering. No, it's an R Works car. That's Ken Urata, the current leader of SB1, 2nd overall, getting past a couple of Honda Jazzes. In fact, that was Nisa Racing, so that'll be Nurul Husna. We just saw her teammate, Natasha Sita, in the pits. Solid drive from Ken Urata, Japanese driver, and obviously a well-known name in the Malaysian Championship Series over the last 5 years. Seen him generally in SB1, but also solid, reliable, keeping a good line and keeping his nose out of trouble. That's important today. So, taking well, that is number 85 is Hayden Heikel and Adam Khalid's Nisa Racing car. So, stop and go penalty, 2 seconds. Of course, it's not just the 2 seconds. You have to slow down for the pit lane. There's that, there's starting up again, there's pit lane speeds. So all in all, you're looking at about 6, 7, maybe 8 seconds for that. And it's not welcome when you're right in the middle of a battle, but of course these are regulations and penalties, so it's not really about whether they're welcome or not. They have to be done. That's Chai Kok Ho and Chu Sin Yong's Honda there, 150 car. They're currently in 8th in SP2, being lapped by the 3rd placed Baron Sim, should be in that car now. 4th overall, 3rd in class for that R Engineering car. Pretty good show all in all for today. I think that's what has to be stressed for these drivers. It really is about getting out on track, seeing how the cars are settling in, and seeing how much faster they can get for tomorrow as well. Wins, of course, trophies, if you get them today, it's just a bonus and a result. But mainly it's about being out in racing conditions again and seeing how you have delivered. So that should be Chu Sin Yong in that car now. Nice easy take, turn 1. Nice easy turn 2 as well. Under no pressure whatsoever. And that's Sharina Ramley. Only 10th in SP2 and 17th overall, lapping at 2:56. We'll put in a 2:54. I'm glad that we've come back to this car, because this car, or that car, which we saw for a second, was Alif Hamdan's R Engineering Honda Civic FC. That's the one that's looking for the fastest lap of the day. 2:28.42 was set this morning. 2:29.025 is where they are at right now. This could be coming up to the last lap, so not much time left, but at least still lapping at a decent time at the end. So they've made a couple of improvements on that car. Once you take that car out of the running, because it is the sole entry of TP, Ken Urata is actually the car that is really dominating this race, or has dominated this race. Top of SP1. And as we look at, oh well, in fact that, of course, is the actual leader. Again, great numbers. First overall, first in class, 2:29. Not quite the 2:28. Starting their 21st lap now. So I should be getting the notification from race control that the last lap will be starting soon. What a great performer this car has been over the last 2 years. Set up really nicely, very balanced through the corners, a lot of power on the straights. Just a few laps where it's knocked off a few seconds and they were a bit concerned, but they got that back on track now. So that car, that number 72 car, is going to be, again, one of the top cars to watch tomorrow for race 3 and race 4, if not the entire season. Coming around now. Well, 45 seconds left on the race clock. And he's got a 1 minute lead over Ken Urata at the moment, so there's no threat of this first place being knocked down. In the previous race, of course, they were at this stage up to about lap 17, then dropped down to 5th. Started lapping at 3 minutes 01, which is well off the pace. And no chance of that happening this time. Abdul Qatir and Baron Sim about 6 seconds back from Ken Urata in 3rd. There's the checkered flag. Alif Hamdan didn't beat that 2:28.42. Just going to write down, I might even keep a personal log of all of his fastest laps this season. Why not? I haven't done this in a while. 2:29.06 was the fastest lap in this second race. I have seen 2:24s and 2:26s come out as well. Maybe we can gun for that later on. That's Imran Rafi Adnan. In fact, that's Naji Ayad. That car now third in SB2, 8th overall. So the closing stages, Chin Hua Lip has made up for a mistake in the race this morning. In fact, it's been a perfect end for Chin Hua Lip's first day. Leona Chin, of course, their previous winner, now DNF. After 9 laps, meant that Chin Hua Lip is going to take top spot in MTC. Mohamed Roni Risman and Abdul Mikal and Abu Bakar Benafi in the Toyota Vios. They'll be taking third. That's MTC pretty much locked and loaded. Mitchell Chia and Adi Rahimi's 23 Motors 123 car is leading leading SB2 for looking for their second win. There's that car now. But they're not completely clear. Putra Adam with a brilliant second place, 4 seconds off this car. And then Imran Wafi Adnan's DNT Tune number 60 is some 10 seconds back from Putra Adam. So that's the top 3 in SB2. That's how it should look right till the end. As usual, cars lapping around about 2:30 for an hour, 22 laps. This should be the final corner. That was a great example of how balanced that car is. Absolutely no problems. There you go. The checkered flag officially just righting that tiny mistake that happened earlier today when they should have had a double and had to drop down to 5th because of that lap times. And you're not going to believe it, on that final lap, Alif Hamdan has put in a 2:28.641. That is a good response, Alif, to what I was saying, but sadly you put in a 2:28.420 earlier, so you're not quite there yet, but still very, very fast lap. And that's going to be the fastest lap so far that we've seen in the Malaysia Championship Series. Maybe we'll get another couple of fast laps tomorrow. Who knows? Checkered flag out now, and we'll be shown to all the classes. And I think this is the actual checkered flag. They just got it out in the first lap, but they were just making sure that it's leader +1. Ken Urata has now finished. And his fastest lap in the end was a 2:32.318. So the pace definitely getting faster. TP and SB1 as these drivers get back into the swing of things after such amount of time off. I myself very surprised at how quickly they've got back into the swing of things. But I guess with all the training and the simulators out today, maybe it was just a matter of waiting. But a solid drive from Ken Urata. He's going to really enjoy taking that top spot on the podium. Into the pits he comes, and into Park Ferme. Behind him, Abdul Qadir and Baron Sim. They were 5 seconds behind him in the end. That's SP1 top 2. And Chao Tek Song should be the number 11 car coming in. I think that's it there. Red and white right at the back of your screens. Sandwiched in the middle of all of that. That looks like, we'll just have to wait and see. So now that's a good finish. That's a great finish, in fact, because that car didn't finish this morning. It's the Kino Motorsports 888 Kifli Othman driven. Well done. Ended up actually 5th in class and 10th overall. Ken Hirata very happy indeed. Great to see him top of the podium. We will be seeing him in a second, or in a few minutes anyway, up on the podium. And of course, this bodes very well for race 3 and race 4 tomorrow. What can Ken do there? Quite a keenly contested SP1 class we have. Just 20 seconds, in fact, separating the top 3 cars at the end of the race. All the cars into Parc Fermé, where they will have to go through all of these stringent technical scrutineers, get parked at the back of the circuit, big fence put around them and checked out. But as I said this morning, I really doubt that any of these teams are running any kind of setups that are borderline in any way. Chin Hua Lip, winner of MTC. Not the first time, always in amongst the podium and winners. Chin Hua Lip just had a bit of a mistake this morning. So that means that the MTC class wide open after the first day. Good to see. So the only DNFs today are Hayden Heikel and Adam Khalid in the end in the pits. They really didn't DNF, but kind of from the 17th lap onwards were in there. Amir Harris Jeffrey, told you, nightmare day. 2 unsportsmanlike flags, 1 in each race, and a DNF at 12 laps. And of course, the most high-profile one, Leona Chin. Something went wrong with that Suzuki Swift. She was in good form, looking very fast as well. She's going to have to reconstitute all of that. Oh, looks like Mitchell Chia in the end. She came out as the 2nd driver, so once again, the 2 drivers mixed up there, but Mitchell did very well. Yes, let's have a look at the full results now. Ken Hirata, Abdul Qadir Maran Sim in 2nd, Chao Tek Song in 3rd, and Chazul Hisham, of course, a DNF at 12 laps, but they would come in 4th. That's S Production 1. In TP, as we know, Alif Hamdan with a better performance in this. We can kind of keep up to track with his R&D. Better performance in the 2nd race. Next, S Production 2, Mitchell Chan, Adi Rahimi with our first double winner of the season. Great run from Putra Adam in 2nd, Imran Wafi Adnan and Najib Ayad in 3rd, Luca Y, William Ho in 4th, Noor Adli and Kifli Othman now finished in Kina Motorsport. In fact, 2 finishes, 5th and 6th for both their cars. Chai Kok Ho in 7th, Nurul Husna and Natasha Sita with a creditable 8th for 23 Motors. Azwan Zulkifli and Sharina Ramli and Hayden Heikel and Adam Khalid are the DNF in that category. And of course, Amir Harris Jeffrey as well. I just went through that, as also had a few things to deal with today. And looking at the rest of the cars, and we're about ready to have a look back at race 2 of round 1. And it was pretty much a carbon copy of the first race, the start. As you can see, no problems for Alif Hamdan up at the front. Great start from Ken Hirata down at the side to jump up from 7th to 3rd. Then all of these little battles, especially in SP1 and SP2, they started evolving. This was huge. That was Hayden Heikel at the beginning with Eddie Liu. Again, having a huge battle after they had a huge battle at the start of the race. This was the MTC class. Husna with Natasha Sita in that car, actually, at that point. And as the cars screeched around, well, there was track limits, abuses all over the shop. Mohammed Ronnie Risman there. But in the end, it would, the TP car, this beautiful Civic FC, would cruise its way round for another win. And this was a massive moment indeed. Both drivers from both cars, even when they switched out, just couldn't get enough of each other on track. This was some great control from Hayden Heichel, managing to keep it up there, but what a fight between 23 motors. And Nisa Racing, we saw the retirement, sadly, of Shazul Hisham Harun, number 34 car that won this morning. That was some interesting aerodynamics that were suddenly put into play with the boot opening there. That got fixed, obviously, the pit window. And after the pit window, as the light started to fade, it was yet more battling, especially between these Honda Jazzes and SP2. And that would, of course, lead to some hair-raising moments, which we'll see in a minute. And this was that moment. Absolutely under no pressure. Have a look at that. That's Nisa Racing, and that's off the track, and really off the track. Once again, thank God for the barriers and the runoff areas, and any shunt that you can walk away from, you can drive away from, is a welcome one. So that car nursed its way back to the pits, but unfortunately didn't go any further as it took quite the hit. This was Abdul Qadir and Baron Sim. Again, strong, reliable performance from them. Dark horses for the title, if you ask me. But it was just cruise control. Alif Hamdan fixed those little niggling problems from race 1 and came up with almost the fastest lap of the day again. So 2:28.42, still the fastest lap recorded today. That was by that car in the morning session, as Mule put it. Actually, it's a different race. Ken Urata, great win for him. We'll be seeing him on the podium in just a minute. Chin Hua Lip, who didn't win this morning, winner of MTC. So we'll be back with those podium ceremonies soon. Right now, we're off for a break. Stay with us on the official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit.
Stability, grip, quietness. Only one tire can satisfy drivers who demand true performance. Advan. Life can be exciting. Yokohama Tire.
Welcome to the Malaysian Motorcycle Grand Prix, and as you can see, it's a huge crowd, a sea of yellow and blue, most of them supporting Valentino Rossi this weekend. Also, we have our local riders, a huge event. Tickets have been sold out. Malaysian MotoGP! Go Jack! Go Jack!
Aku cari, you can do it.
Complete control, man, with Vinales. The checkered flag is out. Vinales is victorious. It's Malaysia
Run towards your dream. Because the moment you stop running, the moment you stop fighting, is the day you lose it. That dream is not going to wait and say, take a breather. It's going to say, come catch me. Catch me if you can.
Yokohama.
welcome to the Sepang International Circuit. And of course, this is the Shell Malaysia Motorcycle Grand Prix. As you can see, people are starting to walk into the Welcome Center. We have about 100 over vendors here today. It's going to be an awesome weekend here at Sepang Circuit.
Okay guys, hari ni keadaan sini semua pilihan saya tengok dan saya doakan yang terbaik semua pemba, termasuk Malaysia, ada Rodin, Ki, Syarin dan semua-semua yang terlibat lah.
マレーシアの皆さん、お楽しみに。日本から来ました。お楽しみに楽しんでます。イエーイ。
Stability, grip, quietness. Only one tire can satisfy drivers who demand true performance. Advan. Life can be exciting. Yokohama Tire.
They'll be up there very, very soon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now is the podium ceremony for Malaysia Championship Series 2021, race number 2. We will start with the touring production category. The winner for touring production category, car number 72 from our engineering HMRT, Alif Hamdan.
Alif Hamdan, as I said this morning, with the most rewarding R&D.
It's now my honor to invite Mr. Jason Shao, Assistant Sales Manager, YHI Marketing Malaysia, to join the winner, sole winner, for a Wi-Fi, perhaps.
And it really is a Wi-Fi when you get down to just the two people, but I think Alif's ready to get into more with the car. Still well done. So this would be win number 7 for Alif Hamdan. Multiple MCS winner. Let's hear from him.
It's not much of a difference in the earlier morning race, but still, definitely a performance for you. You know your car better. Definitely a step forward moving for tomorrow at least.
Yeah, definitely. Continuing from race 1, the last 4 laps we actually broke apart, so we've managed to fix that in the time, and then now it went out again. So if you see the last closing stages, that's when the car was the fastest. So it should have happened the first race, but you know, it's R&D, so we're moving forward.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mio. I love to hear that inside track as to what's happening in that our engineering car.
And now for the Malaysian Touring Car category. Please welcome all the winners to the podium. In third place, car number 223, 23 Motors, Abdul Mikhail and Abu Bakar Banafi.
Great performance from this team. Abdul Mikhail and Abu Bakar Banafi in the Toyota Vios. That's the second podium for them today.
Second place, car number 5, Muhammad Roni Risman and Saiful Nizam Kamaruddin.
Second place in MTC.
And the winner for the MTC category, car number 99, Chin Hua Lip.
Chin Hua Lip with the win. 2 different winners in MTC today.
We now invite once again Mr. Jason Shao, Assistant Sales Manager, YHI Marketing Malaysia, to join the winners for a group photo. Thank you, Mr. Jason, and congratulations once again to all the winners.
There are winners for MTC. They're looking to take up the fight again tomorrow.
session. Definitely a different race earlier in the morning, but you managed to get the #1 spot this time around. What changed?
This morning, because of the gearbox problem, so we have to retire. Then we managed to change the gearbox. Then we get a very good result and very good starting. Alhamdulillah.
Definitely happy, man. Congratulations, Chin. Good luck for tomorrow.
Well, now very open in the MTC. I'm going to have to wait and see what happens tomorrow for that class. But I'm sure Leona Chin is going to be back in the mix tomorrow. Don't forget your photo call. So next up should be.
And now is the S Production 1 category. Please welcome all the winners to the podium in 3rd place. Car number 11, R Engineering HMRT, Chow Tek Song.
A lot of credit going to Chow Tek Song. Good, reliable finishes today.
In 2nd place, car number 23, 23 Motors, Abdul Qadir and Baron Sim.
And you can say the same for this dynamic duo as well. Well done to 23 Motors. Another podium for them today.
And the winner for the SP1 category, car number 55, R-Works Ken Urata.
But what a drive it was from Ken Urata. Well-earned top spot on the podium.
Once again, we would like to invite Mr. Jason Chow, Assistant Sales Manager, YHI Marketing Malaysia, Sdn Bhd, to join the winners for a group photo. Thank you so much, Mr. Jason, sir, and congratulations once again to all the winners.
So Ken, definitely a different result earlier in this morning versus now. You're definitely a happier man now, right?
Yeah, first race I had an issue for the fuel pump and disappointed, but our team crew, great job, replaced a new pump. And then, yeah, I pushed harder in the morning. Thank you for the team crew. And thank you for also SIC board member, such a great event. Hello, thank you all.
Congratulations, Ken. Thank you.
Thanks, Bjorn. Great to hear from Ken Urata and hoping for another good performance from him tomorrow in round 2.
And now finally for the S Production 2 category. In 3rd place, car number 60, DNT Tune, Imran Wafi Adnan and Maji Ayad.
Don't write out DNT Tune. Double finish today.
In 2nd place, car number 25, R Engineering HMRT Putra Adam.
This was a great drive from Putra Adam. R Engineering taking 2nd spot.
And the winner of the SP2 category, car number 123, 23 Motors, Mitchell Chia and Adi Rahimi.
And we got a double winner on day 1. Little Chow and Ali Rahimi with a 2nd win for 23 Motors in SP2.
And now, once again, we would like to invite Mr. Jason Chow, Assistant Sales Manager, YHI Marketing Malaysia, Sdn Bhd, to join the winners for a group photo. Thank you, Mr. Jason Chow, and congratulations once again to all the winners. See you guys tomorrow for MCS Round 2, Race 1 and 2. Thank you.
Okay, bawa. Just the winners. Okay, guys, 2 wins in a row, race 1 and race 2. You guys must be ecstatic right now.
Alhamdulillah. Again, thank you very much to our team, 23 Motors Racing team, and to all our sponsors and partners for making this dream come true. So we managed to fight and hold the position, and came out on top. Yeah.
So, Mitch, tomorrow done deal. One confirmed for race 3 and 4 tomorrow, maybe.
No, for sure not. First of all, I would like to thank the team for sure for giving me this opportunity to come back to racing after not being able to race the entire year. It always feels good to be back on the top step for sure when you come back to racing, and looking forward to tomorrow. Definitely won't be easy, especially with the Palas that will come into play tomorrow, which will make things more interesting, but I hope for a good fight. Yeah.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mio. Yes, it is going to be a very interesting round 3 and round 4 tomorrow. Sorry, race 3 and race 4 tomorrow, round 3 and round 4. And ballast will come into play as well. Those races are going to be happening at 11:15 and 4:15 tomorrow, so mark them down your calendar. Right now, that's the brings us to the end of our broadcast today. We will see you tomorrow. You guys take care.